What's up, guys? I know you're surprised to see my face on your subscriptions feed. I know it's been a long time since we've last spoken, but it's 2020. Seems like anything goes. And in theme of that, we're bringing you a video that's a little bit of an update video. I think obviously it's been a long time coming since we've uploaded on this channel. So I thought that, instead of telling you why we haven't made a video in 6 months, why self-started has been deprioritized, because life has been very different, let's just say, in the last 6 months. Don't really know why, but that's I just hear we, well, I can't even say we because, as you can see, it's just me talking to you today. So is this self-started podcast episode 18, or is this a solo podcast? We'll find out at the end why Alex will or will not join us today. Anyways, I want to give you guys an update on my resolutions for the year, what the progress has been like, how they've evolved, how I've been able to do what I've done well, what I haven't done so well, and give you guys a sense of what that journey's been like in the last 6 months. So to start, I wanted to just go over the three main resolutions that I had for this year. Number one, my first resolution was to get 50,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel this year. Now, I'm no predictor of the future, but it's October 1st today, and the year has about 3 months left. And for me to get to 50,000 subscribers, I would need to get exactly 49,870 more subscribers in the next 3 months. Now, my subscribers have pretty much tripled since the beginning of the year, but if you're starting from zero, is anything really tripled? So needless to say, I haven't been on pace to hit that goal, and quite frankly, that might sound disappointing on the surface, but the more I've thought about this over the year, the more I realize that goal in and of itself was kind of a vanity metric slash an incorrect way to approach putting content out and measuring my progress. For one, I think definitely putting out content more consistently would have been a much better metric of success. I found personally the most growth in my channel has come, or at least in my channel and my content quality, and as far as the reactions I get for the content, most of that has come when I'm uploading consistently, more frequently, and I felt that momentum that's spiraling both my video quality and my personal skill and enjoyment of the entire process upwards in a positive direction. Now, with that said, I think it goes hand in hand to say that the process is really what matters in a resolution rather than a end result oriented metric like subscribers or views or anything of that sort, where you can only indirectly get the number of views, but in order to get to that number of views, you have to be able to produce at a high level. I would say that I'm definitely producing at a higher level than I was at the beginning of the year as far as the quality of my content. Like, for example, the video I posted just a few days ago actually has been getting a really good reviews and comments from people as far as the comedy, the timing, and the relevancy of it. I won't bore you with the details because most of you probably won't give a shit about the hockey video game video that I made as a satire video, but essentially it was the first time I tried doing a more sketch style comedic write out that's purely entertainment, and it's been exciting to see how that's been getting a positive reaction, because it's making me feel like, all right, I should be doing more of that, rather than solely focusing on these informational videos, or trying to be funny but also doing it through editing. I find that to be quite tedious and time consuming, whereas writing clever jokes and puns and whatnot, I really like doing that. So, and it feels much more natural. It's faster, and it seems like people like it more, and it's a lot more different than what's already out there. So I think as far as giving me a unique angle, that might be my way in, and how I spiral upwards with my content growth. So that's promising. I'll also say that as far as getting a video that's gotten a lot of traction, I actually do have a video that has over 7,000 views now, that I uploaded last year, and that's been like an encouraging sign as well of what type of content I should be making. That one's more of a direct informational video, and that's been like a more of a teaching video. And I found that that type of content seems to really get the online community engaged with what I'm putting out, and it's just nice to see that type of reaction, because it makes you feel like, all right, I'm going the right direction. There's some positive feedback, and it makes me want to keep going. And a lot of times I will say that it's hard to want to keep going with creating content when you're not getting those reactions. And that's why I think it's very important for you to just really not care about the reactions, and really just make stuff that you enjoy. And that's something that I've been relearning over the last month or so, in the way I approach content, approach life in general, and not really be someone that's so expectation driven, or have so many high expectations for what I'm doing, or feel like if this doesn't produce the results that I want, then it would be a complete failure. It's 99% of the time I would say it's not true. There's always something to be learned from doing, and I'd personally rather be doing than not doing. I think the biggest successes I've had in my life have always come from doing, rather than trying to overthink and wait to strike at that exact moment. You really just gotta say fuck it and just do it, and that's what's been working, and that's what I want to continue to do more of, and make that mindset more of who I am, rather than just simply a tool that I'm able to pull out every now and then. I want it to become something that's second nature, something that I can utilize much more often. Yeah, and that's what's going on with the YouTube channel. As far as my future release schedule, I'm trying to establish a weekly schedule for 2 videos a week. One more entertainment, like the one I posted last week, and one more informational on topics that I personally enjoy, whether it be hockey analytics, teaching about how to excel at the NHL 21 video game that's about to come up, or really I want to use that segment to make the type of informational content that I think can be evergreen, that can teach people things and provide value, while the other content of the week will be more short form, funny entertainment that can get a lot of eyeballs, and also stay fun and stay low intensity enough where I can continue to churn it out consistently. Because, like I said, I think consistency is the key to seeing those numbers go up, and really turn a single viewer into a fan. So yeah, I'm excited for that. My second goal for 2020 was to get to under 60 pounds in body weight. Now, similarly to the first goal of subscribers, this is a vanity metric of 160 pounds. Now, the idea behind setting that kind of goal is like, oh, I want to work out and build muscle to get to 160 pounds of weight as a benchmark, to show that, okay, yeah, I'm I'm doing what I have to do to build up a more fit, more I guess athletic body. If I was to modify that goal, I would say I want to be focusing on getting stronger on different body parts, my chest, legs, back, core, and I would want to focus on, like the videos, more consistent output per week, so more consistent workouts. Now, thankfully, I have seen progress towards that goal. This 3 months ago, I was at 141 in weight, and now I'm about almost 148. So not at the rate that I want to go, but weight. The thing with weight is, if it's, you don't want to be 160 pounds of fat, so you're better off slowly building the muscle up to that weight rather than trying to force it. So now I'm gonna have to shout out my friend Zach for being my trainer the last 3 months and really keeping me accountable and giving me workouts that target all the body parts that I want to target. And I've definitely been able to be more consistent because I have someone to keep me accountable and take out a lot of the guesswork from working out, and being able to give me some guidance, especially when I'll give an example right now. What I did not know, that when you do push-ups, your arms are not supposed to be like completely 90 degrees like this with your hands forward. It's supposed to be more like 45 degrees. So this way your shoulder isn't getting as strained as it can be if you're doing push-ups like this. I was doing push-ups like that for a long time, but until Zach corrected that for me, I had no idea. Secondly, I didn't even know that I apparently have long arms for my height. So usually I was doing my push-ups too close to my body, and then that would cause it to be a little more uncomfortable and harder to do. So the adjustment I made was having to have a wider stance, and Zach's been monitoring my form, and as a result, my push-ups have been a lot cleaner, a lot more stable, and I've definitely seen results. My chest improve because of that. One thing that I'm glad that we've been doing is I've been doing push-up and sit-up tests to track how my strength gains have been. So, for example, the very first day we did a fitness test, I did only, I think, 19 sit-ups and 20 to 25 push-ups with poor form. The second test, I ended up doing 29 sit-ups and 29 push-ups with proper form. So that let me know that I was improving in a healthy and at a good pace. And this was about 6 weeks in between tests. So I was really happy with those results. I'm actually about to do a fitness test tomorrow to see how I've progressed from the second test to now the third test. So I'm happy with how that resolution has been going. I think that we will be getting back into doing more consistent workouts because, ironically, Zach, we were playing basketball with some of our buddies a couple weeks ago, and I ended up colliding with him and injuring my shoulder. So I've been unable to do as much physical activity as I'm used to. So that's kind of been a setback, but I've been trying to make it. I've been making sure to stay active despite that, and this arm's just about healed. So once it heals up and I'm able to do all the regular motions, I'm gonna get back out there and get back on my usual consistent, like about 4 to 5 days a week exercise. So I'm excited for that, and I'm hoping to be able to continue my progress up towards 160, and do it in a way that's fun, active, healthy, and efficient. So yeah, that's goal number 2. And the third one is one that's like no doubt the least priority um, of the three, which was to get to an intermediate level of Korean. I did start doing Korean lessons on this website called Talk to Me Korean, as I mentioned in that podcast or video many months ago, and that's been good for. I would say I'm probably 30% of the way through the intermediate level of material, and I have not been doing it consistently. I'll admit that, but my Korean has definitely been improving. I know that because I have actually watched a couple of Korean dramas recently for the first time in a while, Goblin and Itaewon Class, and so that's kind of been reinforcing my Korean, which has been enabling me to practice without that formal practice. And I would say it's more of it's not really a learning. I'm not really learning anything new. It's more just reinforcing the things that I do know, and then highlighting the gaps in my knowledge when there are subtitles that I have no idea what the word is in Korean and how it matches with the subtitle. So it's not exactly the type of training per se that I'd recommend. It's more of a supplementary thing if you're actually doing your Korean lessons, but I still got it. I haven't forgotten anything, so that's like an encouraging sign, and I'm still at a level that I'm happy with as far as someone who doesn't speak, who wasn't born speaking this language or raised speaking this language. So that's, even though that's low priority, something I'll be chipping away at. I don't know. I honestly can't promise that it's going to be done by this year, because a lot has changed since the last time we spoke, and my priorities have changed for sure. And although I just explained all three priorities, I think it's worth at least mentioning what has changed as far as my priorities. So I'm actually back in New York, back with Alex. I will actually explain to you where Alex is at the end of this podcast, but until then, you're gonna have to just watch and wait. I'm back in New York, so I've been spending a lot more time with my family, with friends. Been hanging out with Alex and our other buddies. As far as my career, I've actually been doing a couple of one-off projects that have been cool opportunities. For example, after I finished my certificate at UCLA a couple months ago, I found a okay, sorry, I just literally thought of whether or not they mailed me my certificate yet, because it's been like fucking 4 months. Anyway, after I finished that certificate, I actually connected with a professor from one of my classes who set me up with an opportunity to work with the Vegas Golden Knights hockey team in the NHL, to work on a marketing proposal for their CMO. Basically, I was able to do research to propose a new mobile application for their new minor league team that they're about to launch this year. Now, as far as that, obviously the sport world has been completely shafted by coronavirus, so the timeline of this project was going to be a little messed up because of that. But luckily, this is like a 2 years. This is for a project that they were going to start or launch in 2 years anyway, so it didn't really affect too much there. But I basically ended up writing a 60-page report with like 22 or 23 different features that I thought would be really cool for a mobile app that would be kind of the mobile app of the future. And I'm still waiting and I think it was like a long process for sure. It took up a lot of time, a lot of brain power, because I really wanted to impress these guys. So far, they they seem like they like what I wrote, but I haven't gotten that in-depth feedback yet because they are busy with their NHL level team and what and the minutia and projects that they got going that are more high priority right now. So I'm still waiting to hear back on how that goes, and I'm hopefully it turns out to be well, and they actually do like it, and maybe that leads to some sort of opportunity for me later down the road. If not, I would say that for anyone who's hesitant about doing free work, I would say that free work has kind of been it just opens up so many more opportunities than someone that's not than for someone that is not willing to do it. I was totally down to pour in the time to do this project because it felt like the upside was absolutely worth it. Like if I ended up getting a job with these guys, it's like a no-brainer to like open up that opportunity. Plus my professor was like, hey, if you can totally do this as your final project, so you don't have to worry about the typical project that we were going to do in class, so this gives you more time to focus on that. So it was a win-win in that regard. And third of all, I thought that, worst comes to worst, if nothing comes out of it for me tangibly, at least I still have that relationship with a CMO of a NHL hockey team. Like that's a connection that you never know how it's gonna help out later down the road. So for me, this was like playing with house money, in my opinion. So it's great to do free work. There's also the thought of like they're not paying you anything, so there's not as much pressure to perform, in my opinion. So there's really no loss on their end, no loss on your end beside time, and I think the potential upside, especially if it's a company you want to work with, the potential upside can really outweigh any sort of downside that you might be worried about as far as spending your time on free work. So that's something to consider. The opportunities like that don't come around always. So I think it's good to try to maximize them and see things in the bigger picture as much as possible. Now that's one of the major projects that I was working on. The other being I've been doing some work at my dad's medical office in Queens. Particularly, one of the things that we've been working on is, obviously with COVID going on, we've been working on like a little case study for medicine combinations for immunotherapy or therapeutics that can help our patients with COVID symptoms. So I'm not allowed to spoil how that's going because we're still working on it, but we're hoping that it can actually help. It turns out to be able to help people and make a lasting impact on the COVID problem and inspire other medical research teams to dig further into the results that we've been getting. And I'm personally excited to be part of that type of project. I think that'll be just like a great way to use my writing skills and apply them to help my family out and hopefully help out the world. Beside that, I'm also doing more operational work at my dad's office and improving different processes, communications, digitizing things that are currently done analog right now, stuff like that. It's not full time; it's part time, but it gives me some different some ways to help my family and make a little bit of extra money while I'm working on my own personal projects. So that's been nice. I just remembered that my main project for my YouTube channel, but I don't want to get into that right now. That's kind of a little top secret project for on my own, but I will mention that I'm also learning coding because it's relevant for one of the projects that I'm personally pursuing. I'll give you guys more details on that maybe in the next 6 months, based on how frequent these podcasts are coming. But yeah, that's like the update for me. I'm just gonna continue doing what I've been doing. More on the YouTube channel if any of you are interested. It's just my name. You can see my picture. Hopefully it's entertaining for anyone who cares. Now, I think that about wraps up what I had to say about my resolutions. So now, before I go, I want to let you guys know where Alex is. Now, I approached Alex about doing this podcast together, but you know what? He's like he wasn't down. So he wasn't here today. Maybe he'll be here a different day. I don't know. I would not hold your breath, but that's why he's not here. But I'm here, guys. So, anyways, I highly doubt it, but if you made it this far, thanks for sticking by. Thanks for watching all the way through. Hopefully, this is somewhat valuable to someone who is trying to stay on top of their New Year's resolutions. And despite all the chaos that's been going on in the world, hopefully that my perspective has been giving you some different perspectives on things like free work and accountability, consistency, etc. If any of you guys have any questions or want to reach out about anything and for some help or anything like that, I'm more than willing to do so. Other than that, again, appreciate your support, and I will talk to you guys the next time we do one of these.